Hey there, gang. There it is. That is the Marvel Comics solicitation catalog for May 2022. I am putting together my pull list for my local comic book store. So I'm going to go through this catalog. I will be letting you know what I intend to purchase, what I intend to pass on, what you should take a look at, and what definitely you do not want in your collection. Able to predict that 2 months out before the books actually arrive because, hey, I'm just that good. So if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is a pull list episode. We will be going through, as I said already, the Marvel Comics solicitation catalog for May 2022. I'm just putting together my order for my local comic book store. Going to let you know what I'm buying and what you should buy or not buy, as the case may be. So please do like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all of the groovy things. Stick around for the contest keyword at the end of the video. And well, I guess that's it. Let us get kind of right to it. I will just mention that I did do already a pull list episode for DC Comics coming in May, and upcoming we will have videos for the premier publishers, Dark Horse, IDW, Boom, and Dynamite, and then we'll do one more video for sort of the Professor and Mary Ann contingent of the comic book industry and the rest, as it were. So first up, let us, as we always do, take a look at what I got last month, or I should say next month. These are the books that I've already pre-ordered for April from Marvel. I have 39 books on my pull list for April, 7 of them from Marvel, so that is 17.9%. Retail dollar value $28.93, so that's a little less, 16.75% of what I intend to spend in April on comic books. And so what do we get here? We got Strange number 2, Captain Carter number 2, King Conan number 5, The Marvels number 10, Daredevil number 1, Excellent number 3, and Strange Academy 18. Strange Academy, that was the last issue of that series. Too bad. I really did enjoy that book, but that'll open up a spot maybe for something, if not from Marvel, then from some other company. We'll have to go through the catalog and see if there's anything that's going to sneak in from Marvel. The other thing is that there's no, and of course I've already looked through the catalog a bit, so I know this in advance, but there's no Daredevil number 2 in May. There's some weird Daredevil Elektra thing, so I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if this Daredevil got pushed back, or, I mean, it's weird to have a 1 and then a 1 shot, and then, I don't know, is number 2 coming in June? I think the solicitation catalog for June is out already, so we'll get to a video on that in short order within the next week or so. If we take a look at the stats, we can see that Marvel is putting out 73 books for May, and that is way, way, way too much. As I said in my DC video, probably 40 books, about 10 a week would be tops, and that's really only if you're hitting a bunch of different genres, trying to draw in kind of the outliers of the comic book fans. Marvel, apart from Star Wars and one Alien book, everything from Marvel is superheroes. If you're not into the Marvel superheroes, you don't need to be into Marvel at all. So, that may be why I'm not buying that many Marvel books these days, because they're not my Marvel heroes. They're unrecognizable. So much of Marvel these days, and we'll talk about this more as we get into the catalog, but it seems like, alternate realities and fan fictions, they're not the heroes I grew up with. There is that debate, and maybe I should do a separate video on this, of change versus the illusion of change versus growth versus, wanting to have kind of the same thing and expectation of what you're going to get. But as I said, we'll talk about more of that as we get into the catalog. But as I say, 73 is too damn many comic books for one company to publish in any one month. 40 is about right, I think. If somebody waved a magic wand and put me in charge of Marvel, be about 40 books a month, 10 a week. Now, the median on those 73 books has not changed. It's still 32 pages for $3.99. I'm not 100% sure, though, on that page count. For a good decade or so anyway, the Marvel books have been actually 28-page interiors. They get to 32 by counting the covers, whereas DC has been, the traditional 32 pages with, getting to 36 if you count the covers. But I have noticed a couple of Marvel books recently did have 32-page interiors, so I don't know if the page counts in this catalog, if they count the covers or not. Again, for a lot of years they did, but now it seems like maybe they don't. And of course, the other thing that I don't really like is that none of the solicitations for any of the companies actually tell you how many pages the story is. That's the information I want to know, because Marvel, and again, we'll take a look at this as we go in, but Marvel has a lot of books that are 48 pages at both a $4.99 and a $5.99 price point. So I'm assuming the higher price point has more actual pages of story content, but I don't know that. It would be nice to know. The median, however, is a little higher, as you might expect, 36.27 pages for $4.33. That's getting up there. That's way too high. In my mind, $3.99 is probably about double what a comic book actually ought to cost. But $4.33 is certainly, it's a lot of books as we go through this catalog. I'm gonna point out to you that I might like to get that, but I'm not, just because of the price point. But if we look as compared to DC, and again, that DC video is out there somewhere in my my timeline. If you go to the pull list playlist, you can find that. But DC for May, they only put out 57 books, which is a little closer to right size, but they are higher on both the average pages, 37.2, and higher on the price, an average of $4.71, although DC does hit the same median, 32 pages for $3.99. So there's that. All right. Oh, one other thing that we should probably mention. Since I took the time to make this chart, I might as well show it to you. Because the DC video, we noted that about half the line is either Batman or Batman-related books. Kind of a similar story with Marvel. With Marvel, 16.4% of those 73 titles that are coming in May, those are X-Men books. And then if you count the sort of X-Men adjacent, or the solo X-Men titles, Deadpool, Wolverine, Gambit, that's now the 6.8%. So with rounding, when we look at the whole thing, 23.2%, almost a quarter of the line, is X-Men books. Spider-Man, 8.2% of the line. That is 6 Spider-Man titles. And then the Spider-Man family books, Silk, Venom, Carnage, that type of thing. That's another 10.95%. So 19.2% of the line, almost 20% of the line, is Spider-Man books. So if you look at just X-Men and Spider-Man, that's 42.5% of the Marvel Comics line, almost half. As with Batman at DC, Marvel is pretty much all X-Men and Spider-Man. If you don't like X-Men or Spider-Man, you're kind of SOL. You might find a few things here and there, but again, it better be superheroes, because the Star Wars books, there are 8 Star Wars books, which seems to me like way too many by about 7 books. But that is 10.95% of the line. And then we've got the one Alien book that we'll see, Alien, the movie franchise. So that's, a paltry 1.2%. Then there's 3 titles each for the Avengers and Moon Knight, 4.1% each. And then the rest, about 37%, is all Marvel heroes. So all superheroes. If you don't like superheroes, don't go to Marvel. But I mean, that's their brand, especially with the movies. Not that there's much relation between the comic books and the movies. But let's get into that catalog. Let's take a look here. And it's a big, thick catalog, because, the DC catalog is about a quarter of this, and that's because DC doubles up, whereas Marvel does 1 book per page. Anyway, we'll get into it. Captain America, Symbol of Truth, is something you would think I would like. I'm a big fan of the Falcon, largely because Falcon was a co-star in Captain America when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I didn't know enough to know that in the indicia the title was just Captain America. I thought it was partly Sam's book. It was on the cover, it's Captain America and the Falcon, and that was partly Sam's book, as I say. And then my first Mego action figure was the Falcon. So that's that's a little bit of nostalgia there. That's always going to be with me. So you'd think I would be into this book, but there's something about Sam ought to be his own man. I just him being Captain America is, I don't know. I would love a Falcon book, but I'm just not really into a Falcon book as Captain America. So, and I'm not saying that, I don't know. If they replace Steve Rogers with somebody else and that person happened to be black, fine. This isn't really a black and white thing. It's not like, I don't want the black hero to be Captain America. I just feel like Sam deserves better than to just, and I know there's the whole taking up the legacy, the heritage, carrying that on, and all of that. But at the same time, again, to me, I have so much invested in the Falcon that to me it somewhat denigrates the character to have him just dressing up as somebody else. The other issue here, though, is that it's a 40 pages for $4.99, and so $5 for a comic book, especially when we know, well, we presume the writer here, and I'm probably butchering this, but Tachi Onyebuchi, I have no idea who that is. So I don't know what to judge this on. This could be fantastic. It could be largely done in one, but I am presuming, as with much of the comic book industry these days, that this is going to be some storyline that's going to play out over about 10 or 12 issues. In that first issue, I'm probably just going to get kind of the beginning setup. And so there's not going to be really much of a reading experience. There really isn't much with new comic books at all these days. And then, I don't know. It just seems weird to have Captain America with these wings. Although here they're mechanical wings, and even if that's some kind of nanotechnology that folds down to his suit, that's a lot of mechanics going on there. even if it does on the outside look like regular wings. So I don't know. If this was it's only $1. If it was a $3.99 book, I might throw it in. At $5, what I will do is when this comes out, I will take a look at it. Maybe I will get it. If that happens to be a small week, if not a lot of things from my pull list come in the week that this is released or the week after, if there's still a few copies on the stands, I might grab it. But I think I have to see that first. It's not something I'm going to order sight unseen. We beat that up pretty much. And here, I'm always complaining about decompression. And I can kind of see, like, a page and a quarter for a splash. That's fine. But if you look over here, that's kind of, again, you got 2 pages of what, well, with 40 pages, probably going to have what, maybe 25 or 6 pages of story. But this whole thing could have been 1 page. You could have just had your establishing shot and then this. Rather than these, long panels that take up the whole page, you could have had some vertical panels, kind of like, the way George Perez used to be, even some like sliver panels. This could have been just a sliver instead of having all this empty space, unless there's a lot of dialogue that's going in there. The other thing about this, though, is like, okay, I can figure out this is a train, but if you just look at this, you really can't tell what it is he's landing on there. You've got to sort of know. So it doesn't really work. This whole thing here should have had the train in it so you could really see what it was. And then you don't need this panel at all. Then you just go to him bursting in. This thing looking through his goggles. It's not clear to me what it is he's actually looking at. Nor is it clear to me what he's doing here. There's an explosion. Is there something he grabbed and threw out the back of the train? Why is this explode? It looks like he's just looking. He busted in and then looks out the window. I don't get it. So something there isn't really clear to me. And then, this is fine. There's probably something he's either saying or thinking here. Probably saying, because, thought balloons are verboten. It is interesting. I have no idea who this character is, but it is interesting. He's got wings. He's like, maybe this is a Captain America and the Falcon title again. Only, he's got his own Falcon, and it's interesting that he is wearing the green. We think of the Falcon as being red and white as his costume colors, but he was originally green and yellow. Although when he wore the green and yellow costume, again, I'm talking about Sam here back in the day, he didn't have wings. It actually took them a long time, like years, several years, before it really dawned on Marvel that, hey, the guy's name is the Falcon. Maybe we should give him some wings and have him actually fly? All right. Moving on, Thor, number 25 by Donnie Cates. I'm not big on Donnie Cates. I know he's really popular in the industry. A lot of people really like him. But again, I've tried a few things by him, Venom, Guardians of the Galaxy, a few other things, because he was getting so much praise on YouTube and in the fan community. But, I mean, I would pick up a Donnie Cates book for $4 and nothing happened. It's like zero plot movement at all. So he's just way too decompressed for me, so I'm not going to pick that up. And then also because it's part 2, so it crosses over here with the Hulk, also by Donnie Cates. And so if you get one, you got to get 2, and that means instead of replacing one book on my pull list, I've got to boot off 2 things, or hope that maybe 2 titles were ending, or something like that. I mean, that's the thing. I spend a certain amount on comic books every month. I have a set budget. It hasn't changed in 20 some odd years, longer even, really. And so when the prices go up, I just buy fewer books. And so when a company puts out a new book, generally I have to kick something off the list. Unless there's some kind of natural turnover, then that I can replace one book with another book because it ended or it skipped a month or something. I can't really add a book unless I eliminate something. And so when you do an event like this, I've got to eliminate, a couple of things. So that's kind of no. Savage Avengers, I don't really get the point. That's just more of using the Avengers name because I guess with the movies, we think that's going to sell. This lineup is kind of bizarre. Like, to me, Conan should be his own thing in his own universe. Once in a while you do a what if, but it's a what if. It's not in continuity. It's, what if Conan, was around in modern day. But so teaming up Conan with Deathlock and I don't know who White Venom is. Again, I've been so checked out on Marvel for so long that there's a lot of these characters I don't even know who the hell they are. But it's still, this isn't something that screams to me as something that, I'm going to want. And look at this. Again, so this is, 32 pages, so it's about 20 pages of story. Here's 2 pages. Now, at least there's a lot to look at here. This is something you might linger over for a bit. But, again, there's not going to be much dialogue there, I presume. And so, yeah, it's going to read pretty quickly. All right, Spiderman 2099. I've never really been into the 2099 line, so that doesn't mean much to me, even though Miguel O'Hara is back. Okay, great. If you're a fan of 2099, good for you. And same thing here with these 2 books, Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. No idea what that's all about. So as I said up front here, last month we solicited Daredevil number 1, and then this month it's Devil's Reign Omega number 1. So I don't know what's really going on, but I'm getting it largely because of Chip Zdarsky. I have enjoyed Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil. It kind of petered out a little towards the end there, but I've enjoyed him enough. Now, apparently Chip's going over to DC to do Batman, so I don't know if he's going to be working both sides of the street or not. Maybe that's why we've done this. Maybe this is something that sort of wraps up what he was doing, and then, he's going to, Marvel will soldier on without him. I don't know. But I did add this to my pull list. Thunderbolts number 1 by Jim Zub. Jim Zub is pretty reliable. This, I don't know. I never bought into the original Thunderbolts. Not that I hated it or disliked it, but you can't buy everything. And in the early 90s, I wasn't buying a lot of comic books anyway. I couldn't really afford it. My collecting kind of got to a low ebb. So all of the Thunderbolts books that I have, I've obtained in lots and things like that as back issues. But again, it's $5, 40 pages for $5. $5, I'm like, I got to see it. I'm not going to pre-order it. for $5. Now I run the risk because my local store is a small store, and I don't pre-order something. That store, maybe like your store, doesn't order a lot of things for the stands, above and beyond the pull list. They use that really as a guide to what to order, and then it's kind of however many pull lists, requests they have for a certain book. That'll judge how many, if indeed any at all, they order just for the shelf. So by not putting this on my pull list, could be a chance that I just miss it. That, by the time I get there, it's all sold out of whatever they had left over for the shelf. So I don't know, but I think I definitely want to. I want to see that. Is this Naomi? This looks like that Naomi character from DC. No, is that a new Captain Marvel? I guess. Although we're calling her Photon. Is that actually Monica Rambeau? Aren't these all supposed to be younger characters? Again, I have so many questions because I've been so checked out of Marvel for so long. Moon Knight, number 1. I already have that. Don't need it. I do believe that Marvel and DC both should have some regular reprint titles, but I'm not really sure I love this. Now, in comparison to the price of a regular 32-page comic book for $4, 100 pages for $8 is a pretty good deal. But yeah, I don't know if I really need that. It's not something I want to make room in my budget for $8. Now the X books. I don't understand the X-Men anymore. I got out of the X-Men years and years ago. I've told the story before in my regular unboxing video, so I won't belabor it here. But the problem is the X-Men seems to me like every couple of years they have this giant event, and coming out of the event they launch a bunch of new titles, and it seems like they decide, well, every title we've got a trademark to, we've got to use. So there's like 12 titles. And so which X characters are we going to put in? It's like they just roll the dice or draw names out of a hat for which characters go into which book. And it's all just this random mumble jumble. Nothing makes any sense to me anymore. It's so continuity laden. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Legion of Superheroes, and people are like, oh, this is 40 some odd characters and 5 major reboots over the years and all that continuity, and you can't get into it. And to me, apply that to the X-Men. I pick up an X book, I've got no idea who anybody is or what the hell is going on. So pretty much all X-Men books are a pass for me these days. This new Fantastic Four, this Grey Hulk, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, that was a thing in like the 90s for a hot second. I don't have any nostalgia for that. Again, the 90s to me are the lowest period of comic books ever, what I call the Chrome Age. There were just some really, really bad comic books at that time. And this just doesn't appeal to me really at all. If it's your thing, if you're a 90s kid and you love all those 90s books, well, I don't want to say you're what's wrong with the industry today, but, it is what it is. So here's, I don't know how well you can see these 2 pages here. And I guess that's a full page splash, which is fine. But, I mean, and again, this decompression, this is like just a couple people talking, and you probably could accomplish the dialogue here in a couple panels and move on to something that's worth, being in a comic book. But this is an example of how I keep telling you that writers today write as if they're writing a script for a movie or television. It's storyboarded as if for movies or television. And this is hitting every beat of a conversation. For no apparent reason, like, why does this need to be an overhead shot? Why do we need to feel like distance detached from that view? And again here, but then we zoom right in. It seems like that whole page could be just a couple of panels. Get your dialogue out of the way and move on. But here again, it's just we see the villain. There's a reaction shot. And then they jump into action. Not much happens there. Again, these 2 pages could have been 1 full page, assuming these are consecutive pages, or even less. So I don't know. as I say, it's a problem with comics these days is that nothing really happens in any single book, and you pay your $4 at least. And when I was a kid, a comic book would take, half hour, 45 minutes to read, whereas today you're in and out in about 10 minutes. So, Secret Evasion, that's just more rehashing the past. It's like, okay, fine, whatever, Skrulls. I might go for like a Skrulls title, that's cool. But I just, this just seems like it's just a rehash. A Gambit, as I said, I was checked out of the X-Men books before Gambit came along, so I have no real nostalgia for him. So a new Gambit book. Now, this is by Chris Claremont, so potentially, I guess, that's something I will take a look at. It is $4. So, it's the lowest price point there is. That's something I might take a look at when it comes out, but I'm not going to put it on my pre-order list. Spider-Man, I'm just not a fan of John Romita Jr. I know a lot of people are, and if you are, good for you. To me, his artwork's a little on the ugly side. I hate to say that, because he does do continuity well. Perhaps as good as anybody in the industry today. I mean, that was a great thing about Kirby and Ditko, those kinds of artists, is that they knew how to lay out a story and pace it and to do it so that one panel led to the other. A lot of pages these days, and we can go back to this one, where were we? It doesn't really, there's nothing really there to lead your eye. Like, your eye almost doesn't know where to go. Like, okay, it'll go here, down like that, back up to here. You're kind of stranded. Maybe this probably should have been this way, so that you would go up and around with your eye and then come back down. I'm getting a little esoteric here, but anyway, Ditko and Kirby, they were geniuses at leading your eye across the page, making the art service the story. And, John Romita Jr. does that as well as anyone is able to these days. But again, I just, the layouts are great. The final art is kind of like, everything looks like it's an initial marker sketch, to me. It looks like his thumbnails. Venom I'm just not into, or Carnage. Any of that grim and gritty holdover stuff from the 90s doesn't do it for me. Spider-Punk, I have no idea what that is. I don't even remember the first issue of this being solicited last month, so, whatever. What If? It's hard for me to get into a What If title these days because I don't know enough anymore of the regular Marvel continuity that I know, like, what is the what if question? I don't know what we're spinning off of enough to care about this alternative. And like I said, everything in Marvel these days seems to me like it is, what ifs, alternate realities, and fan fiction. So I can't really get into that. Ben Reilly, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales. These are all just Spider clones. Nothing really in there for me. These are good writers. James DeMatteis, Tim Seeley. This guy I don't know, Saladin Ahmed. But still, if you are buying any of those books and you think they're great, let me know in the comments below why I should be buying them. But again, Venom, Silk, these are just, again, grim and gritty 90s stuff I'm not into. Silk is just seems like a completely superfluous clone character. Savage Spider-Man, it's like, okay, well, Spider-Man turns into this, looks like kind of a beetle jaw thing. I don't know. Why is that not just a regular storyline in the Amazing Spider-Man book? Or Spider-Man probably could support a couple of ongoing series. Why is it its own thing? Joe Kelly isn't really my favorite either, so there's that. X-Men Legends. Oh, it is Roy Thomas. Is this a new thing? Wait a second. I don't know if I know this before. Roy Thomas redefined the Merry Mutants and 2 seminal runs in the book. Yeah, he did. Now, at long last, Reading. Oh, it looks like it's going to be... So I guess this is going to be Roy Thomas's version of Incredible Hulk 181. It's like, all right, you know. I don't really need that. I'm glad Roy Thomas is doing a book. I like Roy Thomas. I'd rather they gave Roy Thomas The Invaders, or maybe something new to do with some World War II characters. I know he's into that era. Maybe give him the Destroyer. I always loved the Destroyer. Great costume. Give him that. But just having him rehash stories that he didn't write, I don't know. Because Roy Thomas is great, and this is something I got into as a kid. Roy Thomas could write an entire story just based on why Superman's boots were colored wrong in one panel of a 5-page story from 1942. And make it entertaining. He's really into that kind of stuff, and that's kind of fun to get into sometimes. But I want Roy to do something original in something that I think matters to him, and maybe this does matter to him for all I know. But it just looks to me like we're gonna have Roy rehash some stuff. So I don't know. I'll take a look at that when it comes out. All of this Knights of X, Legion of X, this of X, that of X. Not for me, Again, I have no idea what's going on, who anybody is, why anybody is. None of that. All these X-Men books, I just can't even. So, if there's an X-Men book that you like, again, as I said before with those Spider Family books, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I'll try it out if you got a good enough pitch. Excellent, I did get. It's kind of tangential to the X-Men books. It's really only just using the X to try and garner a few sales. It's completely independent of that mostly. And it is Michael Allred. Peter Milligan runs hot and cold for me, but I do like Michael Allred, and so I have been buying that. Marvel's Voices Identity. It's celebrating the Asian heroes, I guess. But I don't know. $6. $6 to tell me I'm racist because I don't love any of these characters enough. That's what it feels like anyway. I'm sure it's not that. And hearing me say that, if you've even got this far in the video, you may be like, oh, he's a toxic troll. He must be a comic skater. But I don't know. Punisher, I've never really been a big fan of the Punisher for, again, those grim and gritty reasons. Ghost Rider runs hot and cold, mostly cold the way people write him these days. A couple of Avengers books, but I don't know, even why the Avengers exist these days. The Avengers isn't anything special anymore. I mean, it used to be you had a set lineup. They were the big players in the Marvel Universe. Every now and again, you would have this changing of the guard, new roll call thing. And it's like, oh, who's going to be invited to join, But now it's like anybody who's ever existed has been an Avenger. So it's like there's nothing really special about the Avengers. It's just, here's a random mix of heroes. It's like the X books. We just drew some names out of a hat. And there you go. Iron Man. I don't know about Iron Man. Fantastic Four. Dan Slott is a dick. And he has me blocked on Twitter. And I wasn't mean to him. I think I did criticize something. And because he flipped out because he's a total dick. You can't say anything to him, even if it's the most constructive form of criticism possible. He won't hear it. Dan Slott is an absolute legend in his own mind and won't broke any discontent from the fans. And so, as I told you in the DC video, if a creator blocks me, if I do not exist to them, then neither does my money. And so I'm just not buying anything by Dan Slott. I would really like to have a good Fantastic Four book, but I don't know. The Eternals, I've never been into the Eternals, and the movie certainly didn't help. Black Panther, just John Ridley can't write a comic book. I'm not saying he can't write, but it's a different craft. Writing a comic book is a different craft than writing a movie. I can't stress that enough. I keep saying it. But a movie, a television script, a play, these are different types of storytelling mediums. And so the thing is, if you try and write a comic book as you would a movie or TV script, you don't get enough in any one issue to really be worth it. It necessarily has to be more compressed, and trying to hit every beat of a scene, or trying to draw things out the way you would with a TV script or a movie script. It doesn't work, because it's kind of the same thing as you wouldn't write a short story the way you would a novel. You wouldn't compose a pop song the way you would an orchestral movement. I mean, it's the same kind of thing, but at the same time, different rules, different things you have to. And of course, the other problem with John Ridley is that this is a book where I feel like I'm going to be reading it just to be told I'm racist. That I have some kind of systemic white privilege. So sorry, but I'm not going to have the Prince of Wakanda telling me at my income that I have white privilege. Get bent. All right, so She-Hulk, whatever, Maestro, whatever. Now, this book I have been getting, and I actually kind of enjoy it. That's a cool cover, too, by the way. So I don't, this is one of those kind of replacements, but it doesn't feel as much like a replacement because Clea is still her own character, and she's been around for a while. It's not quite the same as the Falcon taking on the mantle of Captain America. I mean, she's got Strange's cape, but it's not like she's really trying to be, she's not being presented as a fill-in, because we're trying to discard that old character and bring in a woman. It's just I don't know. It's got a different feel to it that it works for me. It's something different. It's a new way of looking at kind of that whole milieu, and I don't know. I mean, Doctor Strange will be back eventually. We all know that, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. These replacement characters. What do you like? What do you don't like? What works for you? What doesn't? I could be right out to lunch. Possible. There's a couple of Moon Knight things, but I don't know. I love the original Moon Knight series by Bill Sienkiewicz and Doug Moach. But more recent Moon Knights, I don't know. They get a little too tied up in the schizophrenia and the alternate personalities, and that makes because one of the reasons I read comic books is, of course, that escapist fiction, that wish fulfillment kind of thing, and it's hard for me to identify with the Moon Knight written like this. It would be a good type of character for a limited series or a short story or an ancillary character of some kind, a secondary character. The Moon Knight would almost make a good villain for somebody. But as far as an ongoing series, it's just I can't identify with the character enough that it really sticks with me. Silva Surfer, I don't know. Ron Mars has me blocked, so no money for Ron. And plus, I don't think Ron's that good. It's kind of like with Dan Slott. I don't think they're really that good. I've never really been much of a fan of Ron Mars. Oh, she's back to being binary again, I guess? I don't know. This is one of those, Carol always felt like a kind of a shoehorn character. Like, she only exists to secure the trademark. And she's been in and out of that trademark so many times. And I also feel like that, like Marvel's really, it's kind of the way DC treats Wonder Woman. It's like shoving it down your throat. Like, you will love this. This is a major character. This has to be great. And it's like, well, just tell some great stories. I'll hear about it. I'll get into it. But as long as you're trying to force me to love this character, it's like, ugh. I need that spoonful of sugar. Captain Carter, that's something I've been buying. Iron Fist, so we got a new Iron Fist now, I guess. I don't know. Of course, the only reason they're replacing Iron Fist, it feels like, is because the Iron Fist show on Netflix did so poorly. It's like they're almost embarrassed by Danny Rand now. They got to ditch Danny Rand. But it felt like that, in the films, that they were going to go with, what's her face there? Oh, God, I'm drawing a blank. I'll pop it up on the screen because I'll remember it after I stop filming. Oh, no, not Misty Knight. Who's the other one? It's like, make her Iron Fist if you're going to do anything, I guess. Shang-Chi, I don't know. I tried the first couple of issues, and it was just like, meh. So, the Marvels, I've been getting this, and I got to admit, we're on issue 11. I haven't read any of them yet. They've just been piling up. I got into it because I figured Kurt Busiek, this is going to be basically a Marvel version of Astro City. But as I say, the issues have been piling up, and I haven't got around to reading them yet. Deadpool just isn't my thing. I love the movies. I really do enjoy the movies, but in the comics, it's hard to take. So there's Alien. If you like that movie, that's great. That's not anything that I would buy a comic book for. King Conan, I have been buying this largely because of Jason Aaron, and I did enjoy his initial run on Conan, although that 12-issue run probably had about enough plot for 4 issues. So I'm a little trepidatious about this, but I don't know. I bid at it the month it was solicited. And then there's all of this Star Wars stuff, which, I don't know. To me, Star Wars is the original trilogy and nothing else. Well, and the original Marvel comic series. Like, I want to see some Jackson Thunder Bunny in the movies. But otherwise, I don't know. Star Wars just spun completely out of control. I didn't think much of the prequels, and I absolutely despise the sequels. And there's just now I did see the first season of The Mandalorian, and that was fun. I did enjoy that, but then I dropped my Disney Plus subscription because there was nothing else at that time on Disney Plus that I wanted to watch, or that I hadn't already seen, 1,000 times. So I figured, well, I'll drop the Disney Plus. I'll wait until a few of the Marvel shows are out, and then I will resubscribe for like a month, binge everything, and cancel it again. But the problem is that all of these Marvel Disney Plus shows and the subsequent seasons of The Mandalorian, they are reviewed so heavily on YouTube and reviewed so intricately with clips and everything that I don't feel like I need to watch those shows now. Like, I haven't actually seen an episode of WandaVision, but I feel like I have. I feel like I know everything there is to know. There doesn't seem to be any reason now to go watch it. And the same with, although that's gotten subsequently less and less, that some of the energy seems to be going out of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. But certainly the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Loki. But then some of the newer ones, it's like I'm not seeing as many reviews, or people are just doing the standard. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it wasn't. It was all right. They're not doing these reviews that are as long as the actual episode. Which I don't knock that. When I finally eventually get around to doing, real actual comic book reviews here on this channel, they will be 40, 45-minute reviews on a comic book that took you 10 minutes to read. But so that's something I approach with some caution as well, because it's kind of the same thing. I don't want somebody to not buy a book because they don't feel like they have to. They just, they'll just watch my review and get everything they need. So I don't know how many new books I'll review. I'll probably, I'll wait a couple months until after a book comes out to really hash it out. But anyway, where the hell was I talking about? How did I get on this tangent? I have no idea. But anyway, so that's it. The rest of this catalog is the trade paperbacks and the collections and the things like that. And God, I wish they would do some affordable collections. These freaking omnibuses will freaking kill you. I mean, who can even spend $125 on an omnibus? I mean, it's almost cheaper to go out and get the original books. But anyway, that's it. That's that catalog. So if we take a look at what I am actually getting in May, so I'm only getting 6 books in May from Marvel. Retail value of $25.94, so that's right about 15% of my May order, both in terms of the number of books and the dollar value. And really all I've added that Devil's Reign Omega, and then it's just the books that I've been buying: King Conan, Excellent, Captain Carter, Marvels, and Strange. So I don't buy a lot of Marvel books these days, and I don't see anything really in the catalog that hooks me to say, yeah, you need to be on board here. You need to be reading this. This is going to be some good stuff. Nothing there. So feel free to tell me in the comments below why I'm wrong about any of that. Or you can, reinforce my ego if you want. That's good too. Otherwise, the secret code word here is, well, so many Spider-Man books, or so many X books. You want X booger or a Spidey booger? Tell you what, dealer's choice, either one. Leave a comment, either as part of whatever else you want to say, or just all by itself, Spider booger or X booger, and that'll get you an entry into the big giveaway contest once I get to 1,000 subscribers. And I think I have decided that what I'm going to do, a mystery box like I've done before, but the issue numbers will add up to 1,000. Whatever I put in the box, the issue numbers of the various books, and it'll be like a wide range of, a big variety of different things. And some of the older books may not be in, near mint condition, but it'll be a nice little mystery box of different stuff, maybe some stuff you might not even know exists. But however many books there are, 10, 12, 15, the issue numbers will add up to 1,000. That's what we're going to do when I get to the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which probably still a while away yet. I think we're up to 825 on the subscribers now. But you get an entry into that contest every time you pick me a booger. Every time you leave me a booger, and then I will pick the booger from among those. So the keyword to earn an entry this time out is, again, your choice, Spider booger or X booger, and that's it. Well, where's Stan? Here he is. Boom. So we'll grab Stan here, so he can help me say goodbye. We'll be back tomorrow with more videos. Until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.